Soft piano fades in. A cold street glows under a single flickering lamppost. Voiceover. He sat there every night, an old man with weathered hands and a cracked guitar, his eyes holding the silence of 1,000 unspoken memories. His clothes were torn, his shoes thin, but when he sang, time stopped. The song was Hotel California. But it wasn't just a song anymore, it was a story of survival, of love lost and found, of a life that had seen too much pain and still found the courage to sing. People passed by, businessmen in suits, couples laughing, children pointing curiously. Some threw coins, most didn't even glance. Yet, one night, a little boy stopped. Maybe 7 or 8 years old, barefoot, holding a half-eaten sandwich. He sat cross-legged on the pavement, eyes wide, listening to every word. When the song ended, the boy clapped softly. "Sir, that was beautiful." The old man smiled weakly. "Thank you, son. You're the first one who ever listened all the way." The boy looked puzzled. "Why do you sing if no one listens?" The old man's voice trembled. "Because, somewhere, someone will." The boy went home that night with that melody echoing in his heart. He asked his mother, "Mama, do songs live forever?" She smiled gently. "If they come from kindness, yes." Camera pans upward, the streetlight flickers out, leaving only the sound of a lonely guitar fading into the dark. Voiceover. And just like that, two souls connected, one who had nothing left to give, and one who had everything left to learn. Years passed like the turning of pages in an old, forgotten book. The boy grew, not into a star, but into a humble worker at a small local music bar. He cleaned floors, arranged stools, tuned guitars for others. But every night, as he worked, the melody of that song, Hotel California, followed him like a soft ghost of memory. He never saw the old man again. But sometimes, when the world felt too heavy, he'd close his eyes and hear that broken voice whisper, "Somewhere, someone will listen." One fateful evening, the bar's main performer didn't show up. The manager frowned. "Anyone here who can sing?" The boy froze, heart pounding. Everyone laughed. "The cleaner? He sings." But something inside him whispered, "Now or never." He stepped onto the small wooden stage, hands shaking. The lights blinded him. He whispered into the mic, "This song is for someone who once believed in me when no one else did." The first chords of Hotel California filled the room. His voice cracked at first, raw, trembling, but honest. As he sang, tears rolled down his cheeks. People began to look up. Fork stopped midair. Even the bartender leaned forward. By the final verse, the entire bar was silent. The applause that followed wasn't just for talent, it was for truth. Someone in the crowd recorded it on their phone. Within hours, it spread across the internet. "Boy's voice touches millions with Hotel California," the headline said. He woke up the next morning to find his name everywhere, but his heart only whispered one thought. "I wish the old man could hear me." Camera fades to black as the viral clip loops, his tears glistening under the bar light. In just 2 days, the world knew his voice. Millions commented, cried, and shared his video. It wasn't fame he chased, but kindness he carried. His voice wasn't perfect, but it had truth. "Who taught you to sing like that?" reporters asked. He simply smiled. "A man who sang when no one was listening." But fame is a strange wind, it lifts you and breaks you at once. He started receiving messages from people saying his song helped them heal, forgive, hope again. Yet inside, he felt incomplete. He owed his soul to someone the world never knew. So he searched. He walked the streets of his childhood, asked around the old alleys. An old man with a guitar. He used to sing here. Some shrugged. Others looked away. Finally, a kind volunteer at a city shelter said softly, "Yes, we knew him. He used to sing every night in our yard until his lungs gave up. He said he was waiting for a boy who once listened." The boy's eyes filled with tears. "Is he still here?" The volunteer hesitated. "He passed away last winter." The world celebrated his rise. He felt only loss. That night, he sat alone, watching his viral video replay. His voice trembled, whispering, "You were right, old man. Someone listened. But I wish it could have been you." Camera pans out, rain falling softly on the window as the viral video glows in the darkness. Voiceover. The world can hear your song, but the soul who inspired it might never know. Weeks later, a parcel arrived at his apartment. No sender's name. Inside was a cracked, weathered guitar, the same one the old man used. A note rested on top, written in shaky handwriting. "For the boy who listened. Keep the song alive." He clutched the guitar to his chest, crying uncontrollably. That evening, he stood on a grand stage, thousands gathered, millions watching live online. He looked into the crowd and said softly, "This is for the man who taught me that kindness never dies, even when people forget your name." He began to play Hotel California, the same slow, soulful rhythm that once filled the lonely street. The audience was silent. No flashing lights, no noise, only the sound of one guitar and one heart. Halfway through the song, his voice broke, not from nerves, but from love. And in that moment, the crowd cried with him. When he finished, the applause was thunderous. But he didn't smile. He just looked up, whispering, "You're finally heard, old man." By midnight, the performance had reached over 100 million people. Yet for him, it was never about fame. It was a promise fulfilled. Voiceover. Sometimes, the purest dreams aren't about becoming someone great, they're about honoring someone good. Camera shows the old guitar glowing under the spotlight, resting peacefully on a stool. Months passed. The boy, now a young man, founded a small charity called Echoes Forever. Its mission, to help forgotten street musicians find a stage, a voice, and hope. He traveled to poor neighborhoods, gifting guitars, sponsoring music lessons for kids. Every wall in the foundation bore a message. Sing for someone who cannot. One evening, during their first public concert, he noticed a shy girl hiding behind the curtains. She whispered, "I want to sing like you, but my voice is small." He smiled gently, kneeling. "Your voice is perfect. Just mean what you sing." The girl walked up and began to sing Hotel California. The same melody that started everything now lived in another heart. As she sang, tears filled his eyes. He realized the circle was complete, the kindness that once touched him now flowed through others. After the concert, he hung the old man's guitar on the wall, beneath a plaque that read, "He sang when no one listened. Now the world sings with him." Voiceover. Sometimes, you don't need to change the world. You just need to touch one's soul deeply enough, and the world changes on its own. Camera pans across the foundation, kids singing, laughter echoing. The light falls warmly on the guitar. Years later, he stood backstage at a massive global concert, lights, cameras, thousands waiting. But in his hand, he still held the same cracked guitar. He smiled quietly, whispering, "You ready, old man?" As he stepped onto the stage, the crowd roared. But when he started to sing, silence fell again, that sacred kind of silence that only truth can create. Every word carried the love, loss, and legacy of a man who believed in kindness more than applause. When the final note ended, the audience erupted. Some cried, some smiled. None knew the full story. He looked up and whispered, "We did it." Later that night, alone in his dressing room, he saw a reflection, faint, soft, the old man smiling behind him. He blinked, and it was gone. But the warmth stayed. Voiceover. One act of kindness, one song from the heart, can echo through generations. The voice may fade, but the love behind it never will. The screen fades to black, showing a single line. Dedicated to every soul who ever sang in silence, waiting to be heard. Soft guitar outro. Fade out.